Hello there. I'm Lee. That's Susan over there.
Oh,
And we are Geeks Assembled. And this week we are discussing a 1940 movie. Yes, we've gone that far back. A black and white one as well.
wow.
Gasp! Horror. Um,
So pretty, though. Come
yeah,
on.
yes, I know. We have open minds, us, and we like to watch any type of movie. And this week we are talking the John Steinbeck classic, The Grapes of Wrath, directed by John Ford, starring what's his face, Henry Fonda. And this is the first time I've seen this movie, and I'd like to ask Susan, seeing as Susan is an American, is this was this happening in real life in America at that time? What this film depicts?
Yeah,
Ah,
definitely.
you
Definitely, people like all these small farmers were being bought up by bigger farmers, and all the people who got all these land grants and went out to homestead and set up shop. It was like uh, it was like between 80 and 50 and 80 years later, and their kids are still trying to work the farm, but because of these loans that have been extended to people, all these farms were going under, and it was also the beginning of the Great Depression, and there was so basically it was written in by Steinbeck in like 36, 37, and the Great Dust Bowl had started happening, and people were their farms weren't able to produce because of the depletion of the soil, and it was a rough time, and so people were like starving and just sort of throwing everything in their cars, in their Model A's, their Model A trucks or whatever, and taking off for California. And there was a ton of influx in California at that time. It went from one of the least populous states to one of the greatest populous states in short order during the Dust Bowl Great Depression era. And yeah, the Joad family was just like it because, but there's some symbolism there, but still it's a pretty like slice of life, sort of cut America at that time, cut anything into Oklahoma or Texas, and people were having to move west at that time.
I mean that was one hell of a journey for them all then.
Yeah.
So because I'm not big on American history, on this type of history, American history. So I thought I'd ask that because
Yep.
it's some information I never knew. So what is your opening thoughts? Well, it was as soon as Ollie's tour was here, we'll just have an open floor. So over to you.
It's okay. So like the thing that was really interesting about this story is that it's a road trip story, and it's got the symbolism of the one who needs the one who needs to escape, and the one who needs to go towards something, and the one that needs to be rest from something. So there's the one who needs to escape is the Fonda character,
Tom Joad.
Tom Joad, and the one who's headed towards something is his Ma Joad, and then the one who needs the rest from everything is Grandpa Joad, and played by a guy by the name of Grapewind. so Grapes of Wrath wins, this guy. Anyway, that's fun. And I read it in high school, and I'm trying to remember exactly what the story was, except for the fact that the movie does tell the Joad story just like the book does. So it's got to be the same, or it's got to be really close anyway. And the cool thing is that it goes all the way, starts off really devastated in Oklahoma, and people are just horrible to each other in that part, and then like all the way across to California, and they finally end up in some place that's really, really decent. And that was a challenge. It was like all these trials and tribulations until they finally end up somewhere decent. And yeah, and so
I mean, as you say, it's a story about, for me, as you say, road trip, but it's also about family.
yeah, go on.
It's not just Ma and Pa and the son. It's the whole family up sticks and went. That you had the uncle, you had grandpa, grandma. Everybody was in that truck of theirs. So everybody in that family just up and went, and not all of them, made it to California.
Right.
Of course. As you say, Grandpa was the first one to bite the dust, shall we say? And the actor, as you say, played him was it Great Win?
Great Win, yeah.
I mean, he played the uncle in The Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, he did. That's true.
Yeah. I was watching it and I thought, I recognise that face from another movie. I did a little bit of digging.
Yeah.
But and then of course Grandma was the next one who never made it. I wonder where they buried Grandma, because that was never shown on screen.
Yeah.
But and that was that scene where where the police had stopped him and was not going to let him through.
Yeah.
But Grandma was ill, and the police saw her. Oh, go through. But she was already dead.
Yeah.
Marjorie didn't let on her at all about. She knew she was dead, but she didn't let on at all. She had to get across the border.
Yeah. True.
It's just determination of their idea of where they were going. They had to keep going.
Yeah.
Brilliant portrayal as well of Marjorie by Jane Darwell.
Yeah,
she won an Oscar for this.
So well deserved.
Best supporting actress.
Yeah, well deserved.
And then I thought, I know that face from somewhere as well. And do you know where I knew her face from?
I don't. Come on.
Mary Poppins. She played the bird woman. Feed the birds.
Oh.
Tuppence a bag.
Yeah. That's right. Aw.
Once I see a familiar face in a movie, I have to rake through everything. Where have I seen this person before?
Yeah, that's great, Lee.
But she got a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for this. So good on her.
Yeah.
And John Ford got Best Director Oscar as well for it.
Oh, good.
So, but yeah, it's a story of survival, isn't it?
Yes.
Family survival. I mean that halfway through the movie, where they go to this camp, it was like a concentration camp, wasn't it?
Oh no, those are little California cottages, and they have a million of them in that state. I lived in one when I moved to California.
No, what with all the armed guards?
No, well,
That's what I'm on about. That's what I'm on
yeah,
about.
yeah, right. But they're little cabins that are in that armed place where the reason for all the armed guards is because they were basically, you know, running these people to death, and so they were afraid of the rebel.
That's what I mean. It was sort of like putting a concentration camp. You weren't allowed to go out. You was treated like dirt, yeah, muck. You was treated,
Right.
And they were willing to kill, and they did.
True.
I mean, Casey, played by the brilliant John Carradine.
Oh my gosh, yes.
His fate, of course, was at their hands.
Yeah.
Which you saw that, you think, wow. I mean, this is why I asked at the beginning: was this what was happening in that time? So
yeah,
it's you wouldn't think things like that would happen.
Yeah,
But
well, it happens a lot. It has happened a lot in American history that people, like, that was what happened in the South Carolina or North Carolina mines or whatever, West Virginia. I don't know where it was exactly. It's somewhere in the South that there was a mining like revolt that they had to fight with guns and stuff. And I mean, the way that our labor has been treated is just rubbish.
no, but
the fact that they made it to the government at the end of the story, they made it to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, camp for that set of farms was it was like the promised land. It was like they were getting paid well. They had decent food. They weren't threatened. They were creative and caring enough to overwhelm the police. The police tried to take over the place at a dance by causing trouble. It was a false flag event, actually, a false flag event. But it didn't happen because the Jode family was actually there and was paying attention and knew their tactics from that other joint, earlier in the movie. And and in that scene, they were able to sort of outthink these people and just kind of carry all those ne'er-do-wells first off the dance floor and then out of the thing and down the road.
That was quite funny where the coppers was at the barrier and they kept looking at the watch and looking over to see what.
it should be trouble about now. False flag event, yeah, for real. Like that was a literal. They were just trying to stage a false flag event so that they could intervene and damage.
The character of Tom Joad, played by Henry Fonda. I mean, must have been one of his earlier movies because he was really young in this, wasn't he?
Really.
Brilliant character. At the beginning of the movie, I didn't think I'd like him because he was quite a bit of abrupt and a bit nasty. He hitched a lift with this lorry truck driver, and he was just nasty to him all the way there.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh, calm down, fella. I mean, he's give you a lift.
Yeah, right. It was like,
if I was the driver, I'd kicked him out.
Yeah, me too. That's true.
But as the movie went on, I warmed to him.
Yeah.
Because you learned his problems. He'd been 4 years in the penitentiary. He didn't escape.
No, he didn't.
Well, everybody assumed he did. You've escaped. No. parole.
But it is hard for people. It was especially hard for people who had like criminal records to get jobs or to get situations set up for them. That's challenging. That was a real challenge for people.
Yeah.
The other thing that was really and what was really good is that his family stuck around him and just embraced him. And that, I mean, the fact that there was all the generations and all the extended family all lumped onto the one truck and headed to California, that was, they were supporting each other. And so.
But back in the day, I think every family did that. Not so much these days.
Not so much as these days.
These days, back then, family was everything.
Yep.
But for me, though, the mainstay of this movie was Ma. She was a rock. She was a rock. I mean, the scene in one of the camps where all the kids started to surround her when she was preparing food.
Yeah.
That was just so. That scene was just. Have you eaten? No. How can I feed all these people? But she was willing to do it, and
yeah,
which was a great strong woman.
Yeah, a saint. She was truly a saint.
And I say, really well played by the actress.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no kidding. That was a really sweet scene.
I mean, I didn't know what to expect from this movie because the title doesn't really give you insight into what the movie's about, really.
Yeah, the only thing is like that they went to California and they worked. The story ends, or a story has a part where they're working on a winery, and so they were struggling with the grapes. That was it.
You see, I would also as well. I say wrath. You mostly say wrath.
No, I say wrath.
Wrath, because some people say wrath.
I don't know who says wrath, but whoever says wrath is
the grapes of wrath.
The grapes of wrath. Wrath.
Yeah, another good movie with wrath. The title, but we won't go down to that sci-fi.
Oh yeah. If you try and find gifs of the grapes of wrath, you'll find that it's all about a certain Star Trek movie. So anyway, interesting that it was completely expected. I was like, I couldn't find one. I was just looking. Oh my gosh. Anyway. The enjoyable thing about seeing Henry Fonda is that I really love his children and grandchildren. I just love his children and grandchildren. I think the world of Peter Fonda. He was a professor at Montana State University, taught at our film school, and his sister owned a ranch that I love to look upon. It's beautiful land, and I never went on it, and I never really met her, and I just it's always exciting when she's doing Greenpeace stuff, but the fact that Henry's children and grandchildren are they're so amazing. And I just think that if I would have met Henry, I would have been like,
the Fondas are like the American acting royalty to our Redgraves.
The Redgraves, yes, quite. Exactly. Oh my gosh, perfect.
So, anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah. Well, just more about Henry Fonda. He did set up a wonderful ranch in the Paradise Valley in the Yellowstone River Valley. It's just it's another lovely ranch, but I've never even seen the entrance to it or anything. But I've been on that river, and it's just wherever he is, he's got a great spot because it's a beautiful valley. And I love the beautiful scenery that John Ford used. I mean, some of the time when you were with the family in the house or in the camp or whatever, it seemed a little claustrophobic. But the minute you were out in the great on Highway 66, Route 66 is a highway in the U.S. that is so famous, and this is
that the one that leads everywhere? Route
Yeah.
60. Yeah.
Yeah, like all the way from Chicago to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And because it goes south, it crosses through Arizona, New Mexico, and Arizona, and then into California. Anyway, that was it was really something fun to see. I mean, John Ford makes the most beautiful images. Anyway, so just the cinematography was
cool. I mean, I'd like to just read this here. This is the ending quote. It's I ain't never gonna be scared no more. I was, though for a while it looked as though we was beat. Good and beat. Looked like we didn't have nobody in the whole wild world but enemies. Like nobody was friendly no more. Made me feel kind of bad and scared too. Like we was lost and nobody cared. Rich fellas come up and they die, and their kids ain't no good and they die out. But we keep a coming. We're the people that live. They can't wipe us out. They can't lick us. We'll go on forever, pa, because we're the people. And
so
that was Marge Ode, the last scene in the movie as they're moving on.
yeah.
But I thought that scene where he sat in the truck, just driving into the distance, and just go out with the movie with that little quote speech there.
So good.
Yeah, it's a brilliant movie. I mean, it is stated as one of the best American movies, of course, but we've we've reviewed two of those already.
Yeah, we have.
And they're all from the 40s.
Yeah.
No, well, one was from the 50s, I think. So
Yeah, they are really tremendous, and but this one was really
this one depth and feeling
yeah.
and meaning.
Yep.
So anything else before we go to final sense score?
No.
Over to you then, Susan.
All right. Well, because of how much I really loved seeing this, I guess I'd never seen it before. Where had I? I don't remember. Anyway, it was good to see it again. If I'd seen it before, and it was good to a good reminder of a book I read also, and I love the road trip part of this story, and I love the way that the family was able to overcome just keep overcoming and overcoming. And so I'll give this 9.5 broken tires out of 10.
Cool. 9.5.
Yeah.
It's an enjoyable movie. As I said, there's a lot of feeling and emotion in this. I'm gonna give this 8.5. So not far off yours.
I'm fine.
8.5 vineyards out of 10.
Cool.
It's an enjoyable movie. I mostly will go back now at some point in not too distant future and rewatch it again. Now knowing the history, what you told me about what was going on there, and I'll mostly watch it with a bit more in-depth knowledge of it now.
Oh, cool.
Because I say I was watching it and I'm thinking, is this what happened or is this just a story? So, but
It was like during that time, all the highways in the country were. I mean, people felt like if they could get on the road. I mean, my grandfather drove from Minnesota to Texas, and did some work in a place in Texas, and I just like the story of his travels were daunting. I mean, he struggled with some washed out highways and having to cross huge amounts of dusty old dirt roads even. And I mean, it's amazing stuff. The people who
a hell of a lot of stamina from these people then.
Yeah, hell of a lot of stamina, and the fact that even though
it's I'm glad that you're an American, I'm English, British, shall we say, and I like when we discuss movies like this because I learn something what I never knew before. Because we don't really learn over here in England. We don't really learn American history that much,
and we don't learn British history that much. So there are so many things that I've learned by watching some of the movies that we watch about the British Empire.
So it's great that we learn stuff from movies.
Yep.
But we always have to clarify if they're a bit far-fetched.
True.
Or grounded.
Yeah, this one's grounded. This one's really, really down to earth and really a slice of life.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that will conclude our little review of The Grapes of Wrath, or Wrath, if you want. So, Susan, thank you for joining me and sitting down and watching this movie this week. It's always great to watch a classic. You guys out there, if you'd like to be on our little gang and group doing these sort of things we do, please get in touch with us. Just message us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, of course, because this is the main thing where this will be shown. And on Twitter, of course, not Twitter, YouTube, please, if you want to be part of the notification, to be notified for the videos, just press that bell button and you'll get notified every time we put one up. All we ask, if you want to join us, is be 18 plus, have a working camera and microphone on your laptop, PC, mobile phone, tablet, and you're good to go.
Yep.
That's all we give you, and we talk movies, TV, audio dramas, and music as well. So feel free to get in touch with us.
Yep.
Fresh faces is always good to have on here.
Agreed.
Because those two ugly mugs,
I know you love us, but I just encourage you to join us if you'd like, because
we don't bite.
we were hell of a lot of fun to chat with about this stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Properly geeky at times, so
Oh yeah, anything is a geeks assembled. We geek out about anything. We're not
yep,
one genre, not one decade. We're across the board.
yep.
So that's how we like it.
Super eclectic.
Yes, that's it. So, and also as well, please go back to our back catalogue of videos. Go through them. Have a little viewing of your own. See what we have done, and hopefully you'll find something there what you enjoy to watch.
Yep.
So that I think is our little. I've done everything, haven't I? Yeah. Yep. So that now is the end of this one. So as again, thank you, Susan, and
Thank
you
you.
guys. See you next time. Bye for now.